Fresh up in here, chopping it up with Sonny. What's going on with you, pimpin'?
Good, man. Chilling, man. Got a project coming out. Excited to talk about it today.
Okay, let's talk about it. First of all, so Manchester is your home, you know?
Funny story. I was born in Italy. I was there for about 8 years of my life, and then we decided to come out to the States for, my parents made that decision for better living for the kids.
Right.
And we basically grew up out in the Bronx, New York, up until about, I want to say 2008 is when I graduated high school. Then I got a scholarship to play ball at Central, and I've been out in Connecticut since. So I've been out here about 5-6 years now.
Okay.
Trying to do my thing, yeah.
So when did you realize that, the music industry was your goal?
I played football for about 12 years, and after my senior year, I started getting scouted by the Jets.
Okay.
I had a few tryouts with them. I was on their scouting board. I had an agent, we were talking back and forth with them. Unfortunately, that didn't work out after a long journey, and I kind of sat and I had all this time on my hands. And I always had like a passion for music.
Mm-hmm.
I related it back to my sports, but I never had the idea of actually conceptualizing it, trying to do something with it up until football finished for me. And not for nothing, it turned out to be my true passion at heart, man. I love what I do.
Like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. It's funny how things happen, man.
For sure. Now, what have you done so far? I mean, how many songs have you completed?
I have my first single out, Sinatra's Back, is out now on iTunes. It just dropped about a month ago, and I've been trying to, get some push on that. And I got my project, my EP, Immigrant American Express, is going to be dropping in just a couple of days, September 14th. I'm excited for that.
Now, with all the CT artists that's been out, and I've been up here now almost 14 years, you from Italy, I'm from Texas. We're a long way from Connecticut, And a few things that I've learned being in Connecticut, one is the lack of support in this particular area. Because, where I come from, we've always had signature artists that gave the blueprint on what to do, what kind of moves to make to not only get yourself out there, but be successful enough where you're in demand.
Yeah.
Where these clubs and promoters are calling you to do shows. And then you take that momentum outside of your area. And then before you know it, you're a nationwide artist Ghetto Boys, UGK, 8Ball and MJG, Master P and No Limit. These are some of the artists that I grew up on, and I've watched them, from day one, just being like, some street hustlers, selling their stuff out of the trunk of their car, showing up at all the hot spots, getting their sales and getting their name and getting their product out there. In Connecticut, I don't see that kind of push. I don't see that kind of signature artist. Is that a goal of yours to make CT aware that, there is talent out here in this tri-state area?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I grew up in New York City, in the Bronx, and that was a heavy influence. Jay-Z, Fabulous, and those were some guys that I took back into consideration of my art. And the last 6-7 years, CT has also been a huge part of my life. So it was like a second home, and I have realized that it does need that support. It does need that growth in the hip-hop industry, and I want to be that guy that could kind of step into that and be like, you know what? I'm here to rep for CT as well, you know what I'm saying? That's why I called you. You're the man out here, the face of the radio, and I wanted to just try to get that kind of push behind it. The quality of my work is there. I invest in the quality people. I invest in the quality team, and I will not put anything out to embarrass myself.
Right.
And if I'm going to do this for CT as well, I want to make sure that people hear and oh, who the hell is that? These guys are coming on the map.
Now, let's talk about team. Because one thing I tell artists, some of the advice that I give to them is you can be as talented as you can be. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of talent in this area. But I always tell artists, you're only going to go as far as you and your team. It's so important that you have a strong team, a strong foundation, but also everybody amongst your team understands their role. Now let's talk about your team.
My team. Okay, so this whole journey started off with me and my producer. We co-produced everything that we have on the project coming out right now. It's a guy by the name of John Puzo. He's an EDM producer, acid electronica type of music, and he brings this element of difference to my sound. Nowadays, I feel like to be the guy, you have to be different. You have to have your own form of sound. I come from a soul background. I love the saxophone, organs, pianos. That's my kind of what I bring to the table. As far as his element, he's the guy that I produce everything with. What I do, we sit down in the studio, we take it all together, And then we go down to the city, which is my engineer, Mike Nas. He does all my mixing, my engineering, make sure that all my recordings sound tight, my vocals are done. Then he passes it along to my mastering engineer, Mike Perez. And those are the guys that deal with the audio side of things. On the graphic website design, I got a talented guy by the name of Evan Finance. He does a lot of my photography, a lot of my graphic design. He constructed my entire website. He's helping greatly with my promotion, my campaign as far as pushing me as an artist. When it came to the video, I have a promo video out, I have an interview video out, and I have some footage from performances. This guy named Dan Fish with Full Send Productions, they did an incredible job doing what they had to do as far as making me look as professional as possible.
Right.
And then he also had help from Alex Gata, which is a guy on his team. And then I also have two publicists down in New York City. One by the name of Biz. He helped me get on some blogs and do a lot of that behind the scene background work to push me out there. And another one by the name of Tara Dion, and she has her own little team that they're helping me produce a campaign,
right,
and get that out into the streets, get that out into the blogs and the websites, try to get me shows, trying to get me in front of people. So what it comes down to as far as being a successful artist, a lot of guys are so caught up on the fact that I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Yeah and no. Like, as an artist, I feel like that my biggest responsibility was producing quality sound with my producer, quality concepts, and delivering lyrics, not oversaturated stuff that you hear nowadays. Right. There's no substance to the music anymore, and I feel like if you play your position and you put these guys in a position to thrive at what they're best at, it all just comes together, and we're sitting here today trying to help them get it out, you know?
Man, it's like you got a strong team behind you.
Yeah.
And that's so important because, you know, I run across artists all the time, and I kind of feel bad for them because you got all these artists out here. It's either they got the talent, but they don't understand the business side of it, or they're whack artists,
yeah,
but they have the money and the backing for the financial and the business side of it. You know, it's hard to find an artist. And I was talking to Chris Webby about this too. And Chris was telling me that, you know, when he was coming up, you know, he was from the southern part of Connecticut, you know, and there was no outlets out there. So he just got out there and just started performing wherever he could. He started building his fan base, you know, wherever he could be, you know, and his fan base just grew with him. And now he's like a national artist out there. He just moved to LA, but he said, Fresh, I still come back home, you know what I'm saying? But I was doing so many shows on the road out there in the West Coast that, you know, I was getting so much love out there. I felt like I needed to be out there in the West, out there in LA.
Yeah. And
that's so important because, you know, out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now let's talk about your website and your social media information, how people can get a hold of you.
I actually have my own company. It's called Burnt Leather. It's basically based around arts, music, production, video, photography. My Instagram is at Sogni G, Sogni, SOGNI_G. Okay. I also have a Burnt Leather Instagram at Burnt Leather. Twitter as well at Sogni G. My website, burntleather.com. You'll find everything, all my releases, interviews, video shoots from performances, all my new sound, everything. Featured artists are even on there. I have a feature from a guy from New York named Trips. He's a well-known guy out there. He's featured on this track called Outspoken, which just touches on the fact of how funny life can be and what brings you to the fact that where you are today. And that track also transitions into a track called Letter to God, where I particularly talk about specific events that went down in my life, and it's like an open letter to God himself. I'm very strong in my faith, I'm rooted, and even how we met is no accident. And I portray that in it's all over my project. 5 tracks coming out, Immigrant American Express.
For sure. Now, before we get up out of here, you know, what are some of your goals as far as 2015 and beyond? You know, a lot of artists, you know, say 5-10 years ago, their goal was to attract major labels so they can go to New York and sign on the dotted line. But we all learned that ain't always the best course. Because I know some artists to this day, man, they sign some fucked up ass contracts, dog. And before you know it, you on the shelf locked in on this crazy contract, you know. But nowadays, you know, you got a lot of these artists, they doing everything, you know, in-house. They're keeping everything in-house. You know, these independent projects are like making noise worldwide. That seems to be the new wave. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are some of your goals?
2015, I want to start to travel, tour, get some dates in different states, and maybe start to get my face out there like Chris Webby did. He just got himself up out there and had people see who he was. As far as where I see myself, my career, a lot of artists don't understand the concept of the contracts with the labels. Like, they give you money, they'll give it to you, but you gotta make it back. You gotta pay it back, and that's what guys start to fall through the cracks. Is that, oh man, they offer me $5 million, but no, they're lending you $5 million. You still gotta make that back.
They're fronting you $5 million.
Like you gotta pay that back somehow. Like, and another thing that I strive on is quality, and I know it's gonna attract attention. It's gonna attract buzz. It might get labels, management, whatever it is. A message that I want to get out is that you can only get back what you put in to the project. I spent, to put a dotted number on it, in a range of 15 grand to put together 5 tracks, to put together a promo video, a website, the photography, everything that came behind it. Like, guys don't understand that. Why am I not getting buzz? Why am I not getting the attention that I put myself out to get? Is because they're not putting the upfront investment into themselves. You recording out of a basement, you're gonna get basement level buzz.
Right. You
record out of $1 million studios in New York City. Save that money, go down there and get that recording and get it right. And that's when you do start to get the attention. Like, in 2015, I want it to be a year that my name is known, my name is out in New York and Connecticut, and that people are starting to recognize me at shows. Like, people are showing up, I'm selling out local venues and doing what I gotta do. And in the meantime, I'm looking to get together my next project that I already started piecing about a month ago. And it's just an ongoing thing where I want myself to be is... that's in God's hands. I don't want to short myself of any greatness that's coming for me. But as far as being a known artist in 2015, that's something that I definitely see myself doing.
Well, it sounds like you got everything, all the pieces in order, dog. So good luck out to you.
Fresh, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Ever since I got up here, one of my goals was not only to be a successful radio DJ, but I also wanted to see a Connecticut artist get out there and get that nationwide love. Because you got to remember now, when you help an artist get to that next level, they're going to remember that. And it's just nice to get that recognition when you have been there with them since day one and you watched them grow and you've helped them grow. Yeah. That's one of my goals. And I've known Chris Webby for a long time. I knew Chris Webby before he was selling out Tool's place. You know what I'm saying? So I've kind of watched him grow. And he always remembers that, when we do shows. And I remember we did a show, one of our hot jams, and Chris Webby was on stage with my man Dub, and he was on stage and he said, I want to thank Connecticut, I want to thank Hot 93.7, Kid Fresh, and Jenny Boom and DJ Buck for helping me get to where I am. It's a good feeling, when you put that work in to help an artist grow. And that, hopefully you could be that next dude.
Oh, I'm trying, man. That's why I'm here. That's why I called you. I want that. And I'd be, how do I say this, naive to say that I could do this by myself. Like, the guys who think that are the guys that ain't getting that far. And like, you need the support of the people around you. And the rest will take care of itself. You got quality work, that'll show. Just get it in the right hands, and that's why you the man on
There you go. There you go. Be on the lookout for Sonny new project, dog. All right. Kid Fresh in the building, Hot 937.
Let's do this. It's a wrap. Yo, that was dope.